Welcome back to the Beyond the Wrestling Gear podcast with Mr. Tommy. He is the author of How to Not Suck as a Human. And today we're also going to be covering MMA, we're going to be covering wrestling, and anything else that pops up during our conversation. Welcome, Tommy.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I know we had our first our first encounter during your podcast, which is I was a privilege and an honor to be on. Being able to share my journey with you, being able to have a good conversation with you, and um, I just enjoy meeting new people. I don't know about you. Do you?
Yeah, I do too. It's podcasts are awesome therapy. And right now, my podcast is focused on a lot of holistic healers and life coaches. So, man, I did 6 podcasts 2 weeks ago in a week, and I mean, it's the greatest therapy ever. Talking to coaches and holistic coaches every day it's been awesome. So, yeah, I enjoy it.
I know it's one of those things where being a podcaster, you have to be really consistent, and there's times where you'll be frustrated where you might have a like a guest or just have trouble finding a topic to talk about. I know I go through that a lot. There's times where I'll have empty dates where I'm not really recording for a long time, or speaking for a long time, and eventually it'll pick up again. It's almost like you are your own independent contractor. You have your own business. Sometimes it'll be slow, sometimes it'll pick up. It just depends on the season.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. It's weird. It goes in cycles. I mean, I'll go, like I said, I had 6 podcasts 2 weeks ago. I think this week I have two. So, but then that's good because those are the days you can send out invites and get caught up on other stuff and spend a little time with family since they seem to get the short end of the stick when we're busy. So, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good
especially when
thing.
it comes to recording. The one downside to podcasting is just finding a quiet spot, especially when you have a lot of people with you and family and stuff. It's like, and try to avoid all the noise and, all that good stuff. But you just gotta make the best of it.
Yeah, my dog's the worst. She's about 95-pound husky shepherd, and she has to see me all the time. So if I disappear, she's gonna come
Oh, yeah.
running into me like, "Oh my god, where were you at?"
My dog's the same way. My Maltese Poo's right here next to me. He's laying right here
Yeah,
next to me to record. He's being really quiet right now, so he's doing a good job. Yeah, but that's a good thing about a lot of these software programs now is that you have the ability to help minimize that as much as possible, the background noise and stuff like that.
yeah. Were you able to watch UFC 320 last night? Any of it?
I wasn't able to watch like the card exactly, but I did watch like snippets of it, highlights. Overall, it was a pretty decent card. I was surprised. I thought it was gonna be a snooze fest where everything was gonna be all decision, but the majority of the fights were submission or TKO.
Okay.
I was impressed by Pereira. Pereira, him scoring that quick knockout to secure his second UFC title.
Yeah, he's back.
He's
I
he's
mean,
back. He's back on top.
it's funny because he didn't say anything much. He didn't say much after that fight when he lost the belt. And then last night he said, well, before the fight, he had said, in March, I wasn't myself. So tonight I'll be back. And he was, but
One of the things.
he's not a man of many words at all.
Yeah, he isn't. But one of the things that I loved about him that stood out after the fight was when he said, "Hey, John Jones lost his brother. Can we take a moment of silence for his brother?" And that was huge. I was like, man, what a stand up guy. What a for him
Yeah.
to do that.
He also wants to move up the heavyweight, fight John Jones. So
Do you think John Jones might return for another fight? I mean, he's completely retired from what I hear.
yeah, I don't know. I guess he put his name in the hat for the White House card that's coming up next year.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to fight on the White House card, but Dana's like, he's too unpredictable. I can't, not a card like that, where it's the White House. You just can't.
You know who I'm also impressed with? I'm also impressed with Emmett Smith. He he's been there forever. I think he's second or third all time to Donald Cerrone in fights in the UFC. He's been there forever. I mean, he's still going strong.
He's been in there a little while, yeah. That was a tough loss last night for
Mhm.
him, Man, I tell you, the crazy guy on the card is Yuri Prohashka. Like, that dude,
He's good.
holy shit,
He's
man.
good, man.
He just comes forward with reckless abandon and throwing bombs, and it's like, he is
He can hit
not gonna
hard.
be denied.
Well, he'll let you have it.
That's a scary dude. But I mean, Pereira couldn't knock out Khalil Roundtree, but Yuri did last night. I mean, that left
He took
hook
it to him.
on the chin, he was out. Yeah, that was something. And I
Do
like
you
that dude too, the whole samurai thing.
Yeah, I like I like that they can come out with their, unique characters or gimmicks, as they say in, like, professional wrestling. One of the things that we've noticed too with MMA now, it's evolved so much. We were just talking about this before the show. Um, going back to the early '90s, back when there was really no rules and nothing was really sanctioned. Anybody could go in there, whether you were 100 pounds or 400 pounds, you don't really have a weight class set there. And now you evolve to having these sponsorships, which is crucial because we talked about it. We're like, all these changes with the sponsorships and then leaving the sponsorships and going to Reebok and then going to Venom. What are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like there's a huge pay discrepancy between mixed martial arts and professional wrestling? Because these wrestlers in professional wrestling get paid a whole lot more than these mixed martial artists, coming up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know like the pay scale on the wrestling guys, but I know the UFC, it's per fight. So if you have 0 to 6 fights, it's a certain amount, and then it goes up, and then you get your performance bonuses and pay-per-view points if you're in the pay-per-view, which that's going away too in January. So yeah, come January, they're gonna be on Paramount, and you'll pay, I think it's 12 or 13 bucks a month, and then all the fights, you'll get to see every fight, no pay-per-views, which is awesome for guys like me that
Yeah,
wanna
same
watch
here.
every single pay-per-view, like,
My dad and I do
85
together.
bucks. Yeah, I mean, they run sometimes 2 a month now, so shit, man, that's a lot. I saw a guy online figured it out, he's like, "That's gonna save me," like, it was almost like $1,200 or something a year from
Yeah.
buying pay-per-views.
Do you do
So,
you
yeah.
do you currently have ESPN Plus? Do you like
Yeah, I watch every fight. Yeah. I watch every, like, Dana White's Contender Series every Tuesday night when that's on, I watch every one of those, I watch The Ultimate Fighter, and I watch every fight, but it's almost every weekend there's a free fight night or a pay-per-view, so, yeah, I've been a big fan since, 2000. I watched it before that, MMA. I mean, I went back to Pride and K1 and what was the other one? It was another one.
there's,
Wha
Pancrase, there's bare knuckle fighting.
that one, yeah, Pancreate something. I forget what it's called, but yeah. I used to go down to the video store and rent videos, VCR tapes to watch fights on. So, yeah, I've been a fan for a long time, and my wife is too. My wife's I'm super blessed to have an awesome wife that she'll sit there and watch every fight with me, and she loves it. She roots for her guys and the women especially. She loves the women fights, which they are. Holy cow, man! You want to talk about some brawls? Those
Oh,
girls
yeah,
do not mess
they can scrap.
around.
They can scrap.
Yeah, yeah. There was a couple good ones last night too on that card. Yeah, those girls go. They don't like to mess around.
They wanna
They
knock each
wanna
other out.
inflict pain. Yeah.
I mean you think about it, you feel that the women fights are better than the male fights in general?
I tell you, I don't know. It's hard to say because there's so many less women fights than men. So percentage-wise, they are almost every girl fight now I mean, all of them. The matchmakers are so good now. They're putting together these fights. Even the Contender Series, holy cow, man, there's you see first round knockouts every week on the Contender Series. Those guys are like, because that's their shot. That's their one shot. They get one fight to get in the UFC and get signed. So they're coming out swinging. That's an awesome show every Tuesday night to see live fights.
Yeah, it makes you really hungry for wanting to succeed when you have a show like that versus just walking on in, which is something that we're seeing a lot of too. Like a lot of these big stars, like don't get me started on CM Punk now. Now, he should have never, ever walked in straight to the UFC. Like that was uncalled for. I mean, I get you're a WWE champion, you've done all these accolades, but you had no business walking into the UFC like that.
He needed a couple more years training before that. And they put him against Mickey Gall his first fight, and that dude's a
Uh-huh.
killer, man. He's been in there for a while. He retired now, but uh, yeah, that wasn't a good fight for him. I mean, it's just another step in competition. It's a whole other level of talent in the UFC. I mean, the bottom guys are some of the toughest guys in the world, so it's no joke for sure.
Now, what I can say is when they had Brock Lesnar, that was perfect because Brock Lesnar, NCAA champion, I think multiple times, and used to put him up against elite competition. He went up pretty quickly. I mean, he lost his first few
Yeah,
fights trying to get adjusted to it, but he had the speed, he had the power, the athleticism.
yeah, that guy's an animal. Yeah. Have you had a chance to see the new Rock movie? Speaking of MMA and
Smashing Machine,
wrestling,
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I loved it.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I want to get to see it. Everyone's saying it's amazing. Like it's not just an MMA movie; it's a great movie.
Yeah, and if you think about it, The Rock actually needs something like that, especially because his last few films have been kinda, been okay. He's been talking about trying to step up in quality when it comes to his films.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard it's great. I want to see it. Those were crazy days back then. He was talking about Mark Kerr was talking about on Joe Rogan that in those days when he was fighting, they paid you in cash.
Mhm.
So he said after the event, you would go to the promoter's office and they'd give you. He said the one time he came out, it was $150,000, and
You mean he had
he
a
had to.
whole bag of cash with him, 150 grand,
Yeah,
50 bands?
yeah. He said he went to the hotel room, got a pillowcase because he didn't have anything to even carry it in, and brought a pillowcase back and put it on a pillowcase and took it out in there. I mean, those were crazy days. They not really they didn't promote, but they condoned steroid use, you know. I think it was Pride, one of the fighters was saying on the bottom of the contract in really big letters, it said, "We do not test for steroids."
Oh, yeah, look at Alistair Overeem. He was a big
Right?
behind.
There you go.
He was juiced to the gills when he was in Pride. He was massive, massive, and then
Yeah,
when they started the USADA testing pool, and you look at him then, he
yeah,
lost so much size, a shell of his former self, all his power went away.
yeah. A lot of those guys you saw, um, Vitor Belfort was
Vitor,
another
yeah, another
one
one.
when UFC started testing, he got pretty soft.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, if if you think about it, just UFC in general during that time, there were very few far in between that were testing. Now, if you go to places like for Vitor, if you were to have a card in Brazil, well, they don't care about that. They'll throw it out the window like, "You can take some TRT. Well, we're not gonna test you. We're not gonna hold it against you. You can fight with TRT and win a couple fights."
Yeah, they didn't really care. I don't know. I like the old days. I miss the old walkouts, man. The walkouts, everybody had a kick-ass song and came out fired up, and it just seemed like the walkouts were more electric back then. And now some of them are really good, like Alex Bajeda coming out and the whole dancing thing and then shooting the bow and I mean that's pretty crazy, pretty awesome, but a lot of these guys, it's like they have freaking opera music or something for a fight song, and like, what the hell are they playing here? Yeah, I miss, like Anderson Silva, and who was another good one? The California Kid, Uriah Faber, coming out to Tupac, and all
Oh, yeah, and
those
then the the
old
Korean
school.
Zombie.
Yeah,
Don't forget
yeah.
his last
There's a
fight in Singapore. Did you see everybody was singing his song?
yeah, dude. That was like a movie. My wife and I sat there and watched that, and I was like, "Holy cow, this is like watching the end of a movie." Like, everybody singing the song and everybody hugging him coming out of the arena, and it was incredible. What a guy, man, to have that many, that's a good dude to have that many fans, and, just have people spreading that much love about him. That was awesome to see, it really was.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and he went out a fighter for sure. I mean, he had a really good fight. He went out a fighter. That's the one thing about him. He was at the top. He was at the top for a couple times at the beginning of his career. Back when they started it, and he went there pretty far. One of the fighters that I'm truly worried about, and that I hope he gets help, is BJ Penn. He's been struggling a lot. I don't know if you've seen what's been going on with him. He's been getting into a lot of trouble, um,
Yeah,
himself,
he
and
just got
that's
arrested
TT
again.
joke.
Yeah, he just got arrested again for some kind of they had a restriction on him and he violated it. So, yeah, I know, and I know at one point he was putting out videos asking for help because he was saying his family took over his house and wouldn't let him in his house, and there was a lot of weird stuff going on with him. I don't know. It's sad because BJ Penn was a really, really good fighter.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us to the topic of mental health and how important it is to address it when you can in any sport.
Yeah, yeah. Even not sports, just in your daily life.
Mhm, mhm. Like the last few fights he had, I felt for him. I was so man, it made me so upset to see him in the octagon getting beat up over and over and over, and just to see him like then the ref, you could tell that the ref was really concerned, and he wouldn't stop the fight. He was like he wanted to give him every opportunity to fight back, but he just couldn't do it.
It's a tough job, man, that ref, because you wa especially if you know the fighters too, right? We know how tough some of these guys are, and so you wanna give them a chance, but then how many shots do you need to take to the head unnecessarily, So, it's like, yeah, you wanna give that guy a shot, but then ultimately they're there to for the safety of the fighters too, so it's gotta be a tough balance, man, and that's why I think in the beginning, the UFC went through quite a few refs, because there was a lot of bad
Yeah.
late stoppages, like seeing guys just getting blasted in the face while they're laying on the mat, unconscious, and
Somebody that you mentioned that we can bring up is Mario Yamasaki. Man,
yes,
man, don't get
there
me
you
started on
go.
him.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, and going back to mental health, man, like, just everybody in your everyday life have a check once in a while, take a mental health day and go do something fun in your life, and just relax, or go for a hike, or do something to let a little bit of stress out and have a little bit of fun and realize that don't take life so seriously.
Yeah, just go out there and enjoy life, and most importantly, focus on you sometimes. You gotta focus on yourself.
Yeah. And it's easier said than done. Everybody gets stressed out, and I do it myself. I find myself like so focused on getting to my goals that I miss some of the fun along the way, and I have to really stop myself and say, wait a minute, let's just enjoy this day, even though, enjoy even the sucky days, just because you're alive and you have good people in your life. And that's really all we need.
Yeah, and then another person that I'm really concerned about too is currently, and I got to interview him last year. To me, he was such a pleasure, such a joy, and I gotta give him his flowers, and I gotta say thank you to him for giving me the opportunity to interview him because I wasn't expecting it. He just said, "Let's go ahead and do this right now. Let's go ahead and do the interview. I'd love to do it." And that's Matt Riddle. You know, when I met him, he was such a wonderful guy. I've never had an issue with him at all. I hope he does a lot better because right now he's going through a rough patch. I don't know if you've seen what's been circling around online with him, but he's been
No,
struggling. I could see it because he's been going off on a lot of different people. He was just recently on a podcast, which I'm not sure if it's a work or not, but he put his hands on the host and took him down and just
oh,
berated him, and he walked off from the set.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's rough.
he's been losing a lot of bookings. They've accused him of scamming promotions, of taking the money and not paying it back, which obviously this promotion he ended up paying it back, but it's pretty serious, and that's one of the things that, you gotta you gotta you gotta take back and take care of yourself, and also don't alienate your fans. Just because someone doesn't agree with you, you don't gotta go and mouth off on them. He
No,
was at one point he was mouthing off on him. He's like, "I don't care if you don't like me, if you hate me, unfollow me. Y'all can go F yourselves and this and that." And I'm sitting here like, that's not the Matt I know.
yeah.
Something's
And,
going on.
that's I get his point on that that you don't have to like people, you don't have to like everybody, but then again, when someone does have a difference of opinion, just say, "Oh, that's your opinion," and move on,
Yeah,
instead of taking a
yeah,
guy down to the ground and berating him like, yeah, there's
yeah, you
the
know?
we all should just respect each other's characteristics, and everybody's different. Everybody has different likes and different opinions, and that's okay. That's what makes the world interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, to me, Matt was a wonderful human being. I still stand by it. Of course, I don't condone what he's been doing lately. That's awful. That's very
Yeah,
awful. I just hope he gets some help and he listens to the good people around him. Obviously he has people that care about him.
yeah, yeah, and that's important. It's important to check your tribe, if you will, because not everybody in your tribe is out for your best interest, whether you know it or not. So there are toxic people in everyone's life. So sometimes it's important to take a check on that too.
Mhm.
And maybe that's causing problems somewhere. So yeah, it's sad. It really is. I remember Diego Sanchez towards the end of his career. Him and his coach came into a fighters meeting, and it was really weird. The coach was like speaking up for him, and like it was very very strange how it all went down. Like trying to say he wasn't getting enough recognition, and all. It was just really weird. So yeah, I guess I don't know. Just some people just go off. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look at John Copenhaver. He lost himself fully. And this wasn't just him fighting, but I think he got involved in use of drugs and alcohol. And he attacked well, at the time, I think it was ex-girlfriend, um, and her and beat the guy she was with so bad that he left her with like missing teeth and just horrendous.
Yeah, 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 that's gross, man. That's really gross.
Hmm.
There's never an excuse for that, to put your hands on a woman, never. So it's
Hmm.
just not good.
Yeah, no, no, it's not for any reason, which kind of
Mm-mm.
leads me to holistic healing. Do you think it's something that's useful for people that are dealing with the mental health situations?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a lifestyle. Meditation helps for sure. Eating clean helps. Um, Drinking plenty of water. Most people would walk around dehydrated and have no clue. I hear people all the time, "Oh, I don't like drinking water." Well, you're 70% water, so get used to it and drink it and quit being a baby.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, I'd rather do the soda route or the,
It
anything like."
yeah, which dehydrates you more. So, yeah, I do, I really do, I think and I'm even bad about staying consistent with my meditations and things like that because I think they really are important. And even having I'm a certified health coach. I still there's still things I need to work on every single day. I still don't, as I said, meditate as much as I should because it does help your brain whenever you, especially if you put breathing with it. If you sit there and do deep breaths, there's a few different methods. Like Wim Hof has some really good methods. There's a newer guy, Chad Martini. He has a system that's very very cool. I just had him on and he taught it to me off air and it's very very cool. I'm in the process of like learning that enough so I can do it every day because I really liked it. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. Go get a massage, go get a Reiki treatment, whatever. I've done. I tell you one thing I did, and it felt very strange, especially at first. Is I was in Germany, and I think it was New Year's Eve. So we go to this spa, and they had just incredible food everywhere, and they had all these cool things you could go. They had a natural cold spring you could walk through, and they had mud baths, and they had all these things, and we'd got signed up for a water massage, right? And the people that were telling us about it and that bought us the tickets, it was my ex's in-laws, my ex's parents. So they were telling us about this lady that does these water massages. And they're like, "Oh, it's so cool. You're like laying in the water and they just kind of hold you up and push on these pressure points." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. We'll do it." So we're waiting around and we hear our name and we go over there and now there's a guy in the water doing the massages. And I was like, "Oh man." So I've got this guy holding me in the water, you know. But it really was, it felt really weird at first, but you know what, man, you got to get over the weirdness of that stuff and just enjoy it, enjoy what it is. And it was pretty cool. So yeah, don't be afraid to do things just because you think people are going to make fun of you or because it feels weird. Just do it. It's whatever. It's a good
And don't be afraid to
experience.
ask for help either. It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it's all right. My number's all over the place. If you need someone to talk to, I might not answer it, but if you text me, I'll get to it. So yeah, there's a lot of people that'll help. A lot of people. I'm sure if somebody texted you and said, "Hey, I'm feeling really bad right now, I'm thinking about suicide." I'm sure you would take that call. There's plenty of people to help. And it's sad right now that so many people take their lives and don't ask for help when there's a lot of help out there.
Yeah, I once had somebody reach out to me that, did my podcast that, and she's still a good friend of mine to this day. And she said, "David, because of your podcast," and she said this, like, live, we were live, and she said that because of your podcast, I no longer have the urge to commit, suicide, so thank you for saving my life, and thank you for making me realize that my family and my daughters mean more than what I thought I did.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's always someone out there that's willing to help. So please, there's my dog knocking shit over behind. She's trying to get behind me.
Yeah, mine's over here running around back and forth.
Man, yeah. We were talking about the Smashing Machine movie, and back in those early days, the craziest thing was Hoist Gracie at 170 pounds beating up guys that were 250 pounds, like Ken Shamrock, that was a steroid monster too. That was just, that was something nobody had ever seen before. We hadn't seen Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in this country, especially, in fighting. So man, that was incredible. And it's now if you don't know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're in big, big trouble in the UFC. And unless you're unless you're a collegiate wrestler. But man, the jiu-jitsu definitely changed the game.
There's a whatchamacallit, what's his name? Gabe Stevenson. He is transitioning from professional wrestling to now he's in the UFC right now doing the lower cards. He's looking to win his first UFC championship eventually down the line.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, he was
Do
supposed
you
to be the
watch
next title, the next Kurt Angle by WWE, but I guess it never panned out, so he went back to MMA. But he can still be the next Kurt Angle, except with a UFC title.
There you go. Do you watch BKFC at all? The bare knuckle? Whew. So last night was Mike Perry and Jeremy Stevens. Jeremy
Mike
Stevens said,
Perry though, Mike Perry's out of his mind.
"Wow, dude. Wow. I think that's 6 wins in a row by KO or TKO for him. He found his home at bare knuckle. He is an animal."
I think he has a school here in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, in Orlando.
Yeah, yeah. And they crowned their first women's champ last night too. I forget what they called it, but that was a pretty nasty one too. Those fights don't last long. They're usually the first or second round. They don't last
Well,
long
I mean,
because
if
you
you're
get
getting
cut
hit for real
so bad.
with no padding,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
gonna
bare
hurt.
knuckle. Yeah. I remember Luke Rockhold switched and went after he retired and went to bare knuckle and Mike Perry knocked his teeth out. And he's like, that's enough. That's enough of that.
What
That's
are your thoughts
stupid.
about Power Slap?
I've never actually watched one of those. I've watched highlights of them. And I mean, everybody in, in the MMA world says they're not everybody, but a lot of people says they're pretty cool to watch. So I need to check one out. Yeah, the highlights look pretty cool. I mean, guys are getting flatlined with a slap, so
And
it's
women
pretty
too.
interesting. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, like, I would have never thought that slapping somebody would be a sport.
Yeah, I don't know how you even get into that. Like, do you just start slapping your friends around and realize
Yeah,
you can
I
slap
don't know
someone
if
really
there's even a
hard or
league, as amateur for that.
right? Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't know. I need to look into that just so I can see the history of how you would even become a power slapper.
I mean, you see a lot of, like, back in the day fighters, like Ronda Rousey was there in attendance. Paige Van Zant competed for
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
few matches. She did pretty good.
Mhm. Yeah, I saw the highlights of hers.
I mean, granted,
I
if you're like a professional wrestler or a fighter, you could probably take those shots, but if you're somebody like you and I, we'd be out cold.
I have a pretty good chin, man. I found that out young. I got hit in the face with a basketball, like a three-quarter court throw. This kid tried to, throw me the ball and I wasn't paying attention. I turned around, it hit me right in the side of the face and put me right into the pavement, but it didn't knock me out. And, I've been hit pretty good. I got knocked out one time I used to race motorcycles and I had a really bad crash one time. It knocked me out, and I woke up with EMTs around me. But yeah, I have a pretty good chin, I believe. But man, I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to stand there and just let somebody smack me in the face.
Yeah, that's too
Do you think,
much in
if
general.
you think back to, are you familiar with Boss Rutan?
Yes, the professor.
So Boss Rutan, man, used to throw those palm strikes, and they were nasty. Used to palm strike guys right in the face. Do that a lot, and on the ear. So yeah, he had something to that early on years ago. That was a nasty dude there.
Yeah, I mean, those are the ones that were there during the UFC's heyday, like, you actually fought, not really anything sanctioned, you could do whatever, and get away with it.
I this image is burned into my brain. I don't remember even who the 2 fighters won. Might have been Dan Severn and somebody else, but, they were on the ground, and he was literally punching the guy in the cup.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Do you remember that?
That was back in, like, the first couple UFCs.
Yeah, yeah. Just punching the dude in the cup. I mean, there was no rule against it.
Yeah, you could do whatever, just, eye gouging, biting,
No,
some
yeah, no eye gouging, fish hooking, or biting. That was about it. And we saw that on the Contender series, dude. It was the craziest thing I ever seen, especially this was just last year. Uh, these guys get into it, and the one guy has the other guy up against the cage and kind of dirty boxing, and they get tied up in the clinch, and this dude bites him right here on his or on the inside of his bicep.
I think
I
I
mean,
saw
to the
that.
point that there was teeth marks on it, and then he goes after he won fight. They didn't really show it until after the fight. They didn't really know what was going on too much, but that dude went that night, they were in Vegas and got the teeth marks tattooed on the inside of his arm.
That's crazy.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that
dude, come on, man. You're getting the chance of a lifetime to get in the UFC, and you bite a guy because you're losing. Like, you're
yeah, there's some
done.
people that don't know self-control, honestly.
Yeah, you're done for forever after that. I don't know where you're gonna go to. He's gonna have to go to, I don't even know where you would go fight after that. Some country that doesn't have the UFC in it or anything,
I
because
mean, look at it as an example, and I hate to name drop him in general, but Roger Jackson, he had it all. He had an MMA career, he's coming on up. Of course, the situation with him and Psycho Stu was horrendous, it was awful. He let his emotions and his little crowd on his live stream get into his head, and he thought of this
yeah,
as, "Oh, this is an actual fight. I'm just gonna pound the meat out of this dude and knock him out." It was awful.
that was painful to watch, man. Like, when I first saw that headline and I'm like, "Oh, let me see what's going on here," and then you watch, like, and he's just throwing bombs on an unconscious dude, like, that's that's another level of, needing some therapy right there. I mean, when you got a dude unconscious and you're just blasting him in the face while he's down on the mat on unconscious is, that's another level. That's a different human doing that right there.
Yeah, he's another person that needs help, needs intervention. Someone needs to step up and help him out.
Yeah, yeah, and, Rampage was a funny dude.
He is funny, but, as a dad, he needs to work on being a father, an actual father, not a best friend, because from what I'm seeing there between both of them, it's more of a buddy-buddy thing.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't do that. Yeah. You can be a friend, but there are times when you have to be a dad. Your kids shouldn't always like you.
Yeah, and, like, the jokes he would have with Raja, I was like, "Dude, like, that's not nice. That's below the belt, dude. Like, that's your son."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate for sure because that dude, I don't know much about him or how talented he was or anything, but once again, he's gonna be done now. Nobody's gonna take him on their platform for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, Rampage is a legend in MMA, and he did tremendous for his career, and I gotta give him credit for that. Of course, you said funny dude, he's hilarious, but and of course, everybody has their problems, has their weaknesses, but that's where you as a human being need to realize, "What do I need to work on? What am I responsible for?" You know? Obviously, no one's perfect, in life, you
Yeah.
know?
He was a funny dude when he was in the UFC, man. Rampage. I remember,
Yeah,
and he had
remember watching
zero
The Ultimate Fighter when he ripped the door off the hinges
ripped
and
the
he
door
threw him
down.
across the
Yeah, yeah.
and then he
And I
went
remember
yeah.
he was get he was getting interviewed by Karen Bryant one time and then started hitting on her. He's like, "Look, you're looking really good." Like he just had zero filter, man.
Yeah, like,
Funny dude.
there was there's a couple, a couple things he's done, like, I think during one of the Ultimate Fighter sessions, he was making fun of a fighter and his weight. He was, like, kept ragging him on and on and on until the guy, like, stood up and wanted to fight him. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was man, and the guy wasn't having it. He was like and they were I think they were on the same team too.
yeah. You have to just let shit roll off, and realize that there are people that's just how they talk. Um, but I have a friend that's kind of like that. He likes to talk shit all the time. He likes to be different and joke around, and he's constantly talking shit. Well,
I mean, but
it's just the way he is.
you know Yeah,
Most of the time, he don't mean anything by it. It's just his personality.
yeah, you know, there's a time and a place for certain things that he needs to realize that, you gotta have, uh, a filter for. One of those things is your family, especially if it's your son. You gotta be really careful, because obviously it struck a nerve with him.
Yeah, I always try to be respectful when I'm talking to everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
I that's how I start out. Treat every human as if they're my friend and friendly and a good human. Now, if you prove me wrong with that and you turn out to be not such a good human, I just won't have, you're just not going to be in my life. Like, it's that easy. I'm not going to have arguments over dumb shit. I just won't deal with it. It's
Mhm.
life's too short.
It really is.
Um, I've family members that love to argue about stuff. They love it. That's their passion is drama, and it's not mine. So I just don't. They're just not in my life very much. Now I'll be kind if I see them somewhere. I'm kind and
Yeah,
respectful,
be
but
cordial.
I'm not going to hang out with that person. I just don't. I don't like having negative people in my life. It's But once again, I think we all should do a little check of we're the medium of the five people that we hang out with, right? So take a check of who you're hanging out with, and you might be surprised sometimes.
You know, it's really important, as your book in the background says, how to not suck as a human.
Available on Amazon.
Yes, and enlighten us on your book. I know of the title, but what do you really focus on when you're reading on the book? What are some of the main topics?
So there's different chapters in it. There's everyday life, there's parenting, relationships, driving, just things we do in everyday life that you might not realize you're kind of sucking as a human and you don't realize it, cutting people off in traffic and just being selfish and disrespectful or whatever, it's just full of little things that you could do every day to be a better person. Let somebody out in traffic. If you have a buggy full of groceries and the guy behind you has three things, let that guy go. Just do kind things and keep going. Do kind things every day. It makes a difference in your life too. I remember reading Jack Canfield one time had a little program. It was like a 10-day program where you would do certain things. There was certain little things you would do every day, but one of them was doing 3 random acts of kindness every day. And that might be for somebody in the grocery store, for letting someone out in traffic, for whatever that is. paying for someone's coffee. So you do 3 random acts of kindness a day, and then you don't tell anybody about it, right? Or you're not bragging about it, you're just doing it because you wanna do it. And and it really does, it makes a big difference in your life. So that's kinda what the book is about, is just being a better person and realizing that and also realizing that we can do anything we wanna do. We're capable of a lot more than what people think. So you can succeed at things that maybe someone's telling you you can't do. I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah, I get that. I get that a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was the thing behind the book. And it's, look, there's sarcasm in there, there's some humor in there. These are my opinions. I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not, Tony Robbins, but I have worked a lot in management positions and managed people a lot, and I've done a lot in my life. So, these are just opinions that I wanted to get out and try to make the world a better place. I think if we all just took each other for who we are and took the labels out of everything, who cares if you're a Republican, Democrat, male, female, gay, whatever? Who cares? We're all human. Just treat each other like humans. That's it. It's not very hard. Just be nice.
You definitely hit the mark there with that. I mean, for sure, for sure. And Rampage, if you need a book, go to Amazon. That'll help you out.
Yeah, oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, for anybody, if you need additional help on being a better human being, check out the book on
Yeah. It's
Amazon.
only 104 pages. It's short. I didn't want some, holy cow, man. I see some of these pages are six, 700, or some of these books, six, 700 pages. Like, who's got fucking time to read that? Jesus. I don't.
No, I mean,
Unless
we
it's
live in a
on.
society where everything's so short form now. Everything is like within seconds, you know what's going on.
I know. Yeah. Now, I do listen to Audible. I don't know if you have that or not, but I love Audible. I have probably, I don't know where it's at, somewhere around 100 books on my Audible. So a lot of times I'll turn that on at night when I lay down to go to bed. I'll turn a book on, like Napoleon Hill or something like that, some kind of motivational thing, and listen to that while I fall asleep. So I try to learn while I'm sleeping.
Yeah, gives you an idea to kind of process information, think, dream up a couple of ideas, right? And then once you get up, you get to put them on paper and make them happen.
Yeah. I used to keep a notepad and pen on my nightstand because I would wake up and I would have dreams, very vivid dreams, and so I would wake up and then jot them down what my dream was about. But I haven't done that for a while now. I'm usually so exhausted by the time I go to bed. I'll turn something on, guided meditation or a book, and I'm usually out in 2 minutes.
That's gotta be nice. You're just out and you sleep the rest of the night, right? Just take it easy.
No, I never sleep all night. I'm up 4 or 5 times a night every night. I fall asleep fast and I keep pushing the time later, like, because I like to get up at 5 or 6 and get going. So, but lately, man, it's like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I'll go to sleep, but then I'm up at 1:30, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I don't know what it is. It's the way I'm wired, I guess.
Exactly. I was about to say that the way you're wired. Well,
Yeah.
Tommy, it's been a lot of fun having you on today, man. I had a good conversation.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I did. Yeah. I don't have many friends that watch MMA, so it's usually I'm talking to my wife about the good fights I see or whatever.
She'll look at you like, what do you what happened? What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah. She is. I mean, she's really knowledgeable though. Like I said, she watches every event with me, so she has
Yeah, I mean,
her favorite fighters, and she loves Alex Pereira, Gary Proshka, and Who else? She loves the women, man. Loves watching the women fight. It's
You know,
funny.
if before I forget, I actually met, this was, geez, 18, no, 20 something years ago. I met, Thiago Alves.
Wow. Nice.
Very, very nice guy. But this was at a store that they had, MMA store, about 20 years ago in Lake Mary. Unfortunately,
Wow.
after a few months, they shut down fully. I was so mad because I was like, they had the shorts, they had the shirts, they had stickers, they had everything there, and I would beg my dad to take me there every weekend.
He was an exciting fighter. He was good.
Yeah, I have to see if I can find the picture. It's somewhere, and I have to upload it, but he is such a nice guy to meet.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Most martial artists are predominantly nice people. I mean, yeah, they like to punch people in the face, but that's just the competition. Me and my son both, we did Chunkudo karate, and I did some jujitsu too, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But man, everybody we met in those places were just phenomenal people, just great, great people. So
And then
parents,
this, despite you're looking at Dana and you think a lot of people will think, oh, he seems like a really horrendous guy and stuff. He's a pretty stand-up guy. I mean, he has his moments where he helps people. He has helped a lot of fighters. He's
yeah,
helped more everyday
yeah.
people.
Yeah, for sure. He just donated money to Ben Askren. Ben Askren had to have those lung
Yeah, did you
transplants,
hear what
and
happened to him? He got really sick.
yeah, yeah, he had to have a lung transplants, and Dana donated to him for medical bills. So yeah, man, he's
Yeah,
giving guys
I'm trying to
he's
find his contacts because I'd like to have him on the show.
yeah, he's giving guys rent for a year. I mean, he's a good boss. He don't take any shit. Which you can't. You're dealing with fighters. You can't let him get away with stuff. So, he has to kind of be a dick sometimes, but he
Yeah,
is a good guy.
yeah, and he and Vince were one of the ones that when the when the pandemic happened, they're like, we're not putting up with this with this. We're gonna have fights. We're gonna find ways to keep people entertained. And they kept us entertained. I was entertained during the time I was at home
Eh,
for who knows how long. I mean, I'm
I
glad
was
he
so
kept us entertained, even though we're
man,
going through a rough time.
I was so grateful for that. Yeah, that was amazing. That was a rough time for everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, there are ways to keep precautions, but he didn't wanna shut down because he realized you shut down, you lose a lot of your steam and money and, all this good stuff.
Yeah, gotta keep going, man.
You got
Gotta
to,
keep
no
it
matter what.
going. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's it. I mean, no matter how bad things look, and it could always be worse, and you can always come out of it.
Yes.
So
You can beat the
just keep
odds.
going. Yeah, for sure.
Alright, well, thank you for your time, brother, and, once again, you guys can find, Tommy's book on Amazon. I'll definitely be putting the link in the description when I post this episode up on YouTube and Spotify, and if you guys wanna check it out, go to the both channels. As I always say, we don't just talk about wrestling, we go beyond the wrestling gear. Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you, man.